Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 20th Community Development Committee meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Upmorland Township. Please join us in a moment of silent meditation. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alex, Mike, Anthony. Bring the meeting to order. We have with us this evening Sean Kilkenny, our solicitor, Anthony Peruzzi, Kevin Spearing, and Kip McFatridge, commissioners, Director of Public Works, Dave Alcier, and Township Manager, Matt Canlon. Do you have any presentations tonight?
We do not.
Okay.
We do not.
Next piece of business is the approval of minutes from our October 16th meeting. Any amendments?
I have none.
I have none.
Okay, any new business? Nothing. Okay, old business, on the Byberry Road feasibility analysis. We had a presentation, we had a conversation with our engineer, and we also had a presentation by the Sewer Authority. And I have recently spoke to the residents, some of the residents involved, and it seems like everybody still is interested in continuing this particular analysis of getting new sewer to Byberry Road. And there has been an extended conversation about whether we do or do not need a complete 537 plan township-wide. So that's the extent of that right now, and that will all be continued. Letter B, Airbnb and swimbles.
Yes. Thank you very much, Commissioner Spearing. Two things I want to bring to your attention. We had a call earlier today with Matt Canlon, and he was inquiring me to where we're at with this. One of our ministers, so recently, and talking about Airbnbs first, recently the Supreme Court of our Commonwealth has been tailoring back the ability of municipalities to regulate these Airbnbs. So what we've done is, in one of our other clients in Delaware County, Sharon Hill Borough, they instructed us to go ahead and draft an Airbnb ordinance with licensing requirements, notification requirements as far as tenants, a relatively strict ordinance. We forwarded that to Mr. Canlon. They voted to advertise it. It's going in front of the Delaware County Planning Commission, their equivalent of the Montco Planning Commission. So we've yet to receive Delco's Planning Commission's comments. So once we get those, what I plan to do is share those with Mr. Canlon. Alex also has a call into our planner at the Montco Planning Commission to get their thoughts on what they've seen other municipalities do at this point. And that's kind of our update as far as that. I know Mr. Canlon also received an ordinance from Airbnb themselves, but obviously that's very generous to Airbnbs. Not to say that's necessarily bad, but we'd like to see where we think we may be able to regulate them a little more. So that's kind of the status update of where our firm is with that right now. As far as the swimming pool rental issue, we can require, we're talking again, Mr. Canlon and I, we're talking with Alex today, and we're saying we can go to some kind of licensing requirement for that. But as far as regulating it totally, if a swimming pool is approved, it meets all the building permits and stuff like that, it's going to be hard for us to say, hey, you can't go ahead and rent it out. So it's going to be a licensing mechanism if that's what the Board of Commissioners really wants to do. I don't know, Matt, did you have anything to add, or?
No, this is, I think, this is still new territory for a lot of jurisdictions, especially the Swimbley one. Airbnb is still kind of new, though. Some communities out in California have, or maybe a little further along. These high-demand resort areas tend to be a little further along, but it would be nice to find one in Pennsylvania that meets all of the Pennsylvania requirements, because every state could be a little different. But it's still kind of new territory.
When you talk about licensing, are you talking about licensing the pool or?
It's a business, essentially, yeah.
Okay. And then, I don't know if you can divulge this yet or it's still TBD, but what are the things we're trying to regulate? Because in my mind, it's about safety for the neighbors. It's about
Safety of people using the facility, insurance, things like that.
insurance,
Yeah.
liability issues. It's also seeing these things as a business, so the licensing.
Taxing.
Okay.
Yeah,
All that.
those are the requirements I think we'd be interested in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think the liability insurance is
That's
my chief concern.
Yeah. But we are working on it, I just wanted to update you, yeah.
Okay. Any public comment on either of those items, Byberry Road sewer feasibility or the Airbnb swimbles? All right, hearing none. We'll move on to letter C. Proposed renderings for streetscaping improvements along Easton Road.
Okay, this is, we have Adam here from Federal. If you'd hand out your little packets there, just to Cheryl, to commissioners and anybody else who would want one. They are on our computers right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are they any different?
We have it up here. So Cheryl, anybody out there, so they know what we're talking about. I'm going to give a rundown of where this came from, what happened. Originally, we wanted gates to open and close on Easton Road, where the back of the wall is, to make it look like, so we didn't have to look at trucks. The problem is, the gates, it's going to make it look like trucks, prison, whatever.
Institution.
Which they brought to us, well, I should say Adam brought to us with his concern, saying this isn't going to look very downtownish when you just put an iron gate here that you have to open and you can still see the trucks and everything else. So we had put a little committee together with the association, Historical Association, and the commission, one person from each, three of us from the board. And we looked at this and we got several different renderings. We've gone through 4 or 5 of them probably. One was graphics, it looked childish. One was graphics, it looked like graphics. Nobody could agree on any of these things. Ray from the Historic Association, he said, it is what it is. He said, why don't we dress it up with a few things so you can't see, let's say, the trucks with walls and things like that. And so Adam did come back with this last plan, which I thought was really pretty good finally. They closed in a couple railings that you would be looking at the trucks, the doors, the trash without these extra walls. So they added extra walls so you don't see it. You are gonna see maybe the tractor of the tractor trailer when it's being unloaded or whatever. And with some greenscape up along the walls. And in the middle, because of the Historical Association came up with the idea of the trolley, this is a very tight 3D rendering. When I say 3D, it's not a big trailer or trolley. It's only 3 inches thick or whatever, but make it look 3-dimensional. And they would put that on the middle wall of the wall they're going to add, so you don't see into the trash cans and all that. This will create a better traffic scenario, so trucks aren't parked there waiting for somebody to open the gates and everything else. And I thought it was a good idea when I brought it up in the beginning, and it obviously wasn't. So I agree with what we have come up with here after all of these renderings. I might have stole your thunder, but I wanted to run through it and just let everybody know where we were and why we're here now. And I thank you for spending I'm sure, a good amount of money trying to get something right after we kept saying no. And finally, I think we have something that, I talked to Paul, he liked it. He said it was a good option, and so this is where we are. This doesn't need to be a vote, but I wanted to bring it to this board. So we could say, yeah, yes, we have a solution here that's not going to go on and on and on. They're on a temporary occupancy. We renewed that, but this has to end so they can finish. For our sake, we want it finished back there. So that's where it is. Anything you want to add?
Kip, I think you pretty much covered it all, and I think that's exactly right. At the end of the day, the original intent with the gate was to try to improve the overall streets.
Okay, you want the other sandwich, you said?
Sorry. The original intent was
You want the rest of the other hoagie, or you want the,
online.
To Charles?
Somebody's not muted. There we go.
Sorry. So the original intent was to preserve the overall streetscape back there while understanding that at the end of the day, this is a service area. It is an active shopping center that we are in the middle of investing millions of dollars in to improve. So how do we strike that balance? When the project was conceived, right, we had this idea of putting in a gate. And I think when push came to shove, I had concerns when reviewing the plan, not only of functionality, but also of that gate's ability to truly preserve the original intent, which is to have something that is as welcoming as a service area can possibly be, right? I think the plan that you have in front of you today does that. After a bunch of back and forths and cooperation and working hand in hand with the township, we're at this stage here. We think we have a functional loading area that's easily accessible to users, at the end of the day, the commercial users that are going to be using it, while at the end of the day, anyone walking down the street is not going to feel as if they're in a place where they don't belong. We did that by focusing on a couple of things, primarily beefing up the landscaping up and down that streetscape, and trying our best to incorporate art where practically feasible, and something that both Federal Realty as a landlord and owner and the township is comfortable with, and I think that's what you see today. I think a couple key changes, and I apologize, we've had a bunch of back and forth with the township. So your latest patch includes renderings, which I'll flip to next, but I really want to focus on the plan first, just to highlight what's changed from the last time this was discussed with the board and those conceptual site plans and what you see today. And I think there were probably a few things. It might help, actually, if nothing else, just to see the first page here, which I'm not sure we have accessible. So I'll just get these out quickly. Forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
So that first page, again, is the original concept plan that we discussed last time we met. And again, just wanted to highlight the changes. The original concept was to do murals along that back wall, as Kip indicated, we were a point where both parties were comfortable there, so those have been deleted. What we did do was bring in the Historical Society's recommendation. During the course of that meeting, they brought up we talked about receiving some inspiration photos from the township. They go through the archives to pass on photos, and what really struck to us in that process was how many photos of these old trolleys and the importance of the rail car system and kind of the old Willow Road as Willow Road photos being developed. So we brought that into the picture, as Kip indicated, on the freestanding wall that we're proposing to build here. We've got three-dimensional pieces, quarter-inch aluminum stacked on another to create that effect. What's changed from that plan, you'll see on that first page, we originally had dumpsters in this location and back here, and individual enclosures. In working with our engineers, functionally we cannot get, as those are oriented in that picture, we can't get those actually loaded. If we try to build an enclosure, the dumpsters ultimately would not sit in the enclosures, it would sit out and be up to the property managers and or the haulers to get them back in those enclosures and get an arm's length to make something that's functional as possible. So what we're proposing in this plan is to take what exists, it's a handful site
again.
lines. Those are the primary changes there, and then everything else you see is focused on the art. And again, what I provided for you is dimensions of the updated proposed design.
I didn't see that.
Right. So I mentioned the extension of the screen wall here to match what's existing. So again, enclosing that Marshall's compactor is a screen wall going to use that same material. And then you'll see here the proposed freestanding masonry wall with the art piece on top. And then I'll just give you one more view from the other direction. Probably the most important component here is, again, replacing what is essentially a steel split rail, safety rail, with an opaque screening wall, and that will block off that traction enclosure. You can see we've got a direct line of sight from that point of view. Tracking down these services.
Is this board okay with this? That's what,
Yeah, so I just want to say that it's been a long time to get here.
Yes.
And this board's been very consistent on making it as much of a front yard as we possibly could. And I appreciate your involvement in the process as you've been here, big asset. And I think, you know, there's always been the understanding of what we wanted, you know, front doors and walking into the front of a store, and you've done almost as much as you could, except for giving us those doors as you could. And the one grocery store that didn't want it isn't even here anymore, at least to my awareness. So I just hope that this whole, I like it. I'm in favor of this particular part of it, but I do want to hear from everybody. But what I'm more interested in is the philosophy and the mentality that we continue to move forward in this direction as we go around the rest of the block.
That's absolutely the intent. This is just a building block there. This is the first half of the eastern corridor, as you guys know better than I do, right? But it will continue as we move into phase 3. Those plans are in process, and I think you'll see the underlying intent carry through that design phase.
So, yeah, I mimic everything Commissioner Spearing said. I think this is great treatment. My only piece of criticism on this, and it's funny that I'm going to say this because this thing is 8 feet by 11 and a half feet, right?
The wall itself?
No, the trolley
The trolley
figure,
itself, yes.
right? And it still looks too small. It looks like a sticker that we're putting on a CMU wall. And if I were to make one more tweak to this, I would say that either that trolley becomes bigger, so it shows as not a decal, but as a sculptural piece, and the wall behind it comes a little bit smaller as a mounting mechanism and a screening mechanism. Aside from that, I like the layering of the panel system. I think it's got a really good relief to it. I appreciate the history of it. But I remember when these renderings were passed to us the first time, my comment back to the team was, is this a mural?
Right.
Because it really does just look like a 2D, you're putting all this effort into layering the pieces, and it looks like a 2D painting on a 3D surface. So that would be my only criticism. Otherwise, I think your treatments of the screen walls behind are great. More vegetation is always a good sign. I'm really happy about the street trees. Make sure that they're native street trees. Got that for you, Lynette. Yeah. Otherwise, I think we're getting somewhere.
Great. Yeah, I think those comments are noted. I'm all for increasing the size of that trolley. We obviously want to keep the perspective accurate.
Yeah, of course.
Just slice the trolley in half and put it up there.
I'm sorry.
And I said, just slice the trolley in half and put it up there.
The other thing we could look to, Anthony, is extending the pin, right? We're 1/4 inch aluminum with 1/4 inch spacers in between to try to create and build that dimension versus just stacking on one another.
Yeah.
We can also look at maybe increasing the size of those spacers, again, driving the overall size of the trolley itself.
Yeah, so it's more of a relief. And I guess the other point too is like, do you have bare CMU anywhere else in this project? Because that's a really,
It's tough with renders. So what I will say, the last 2 pages of the handout that I just provided.
Of this one.
I can send electronic copies after the meeting as may be needed. Talk to the specific construction of that wall. So we're actually proposing 2 materials there. To answer the question directly, we do have split face CMU exposed on the rear walls today, where Marshall's is. There are 2 different types. There's a smooth finish and a rough hewn finish.
Okay.
On the back wall, what this wall will actually be constructed of, at least our intent, after reviewing with our architects, is to carry over the brick masonry that you see at the grocer building.
Mm-hmm.
On the bottom layers, kind of serve as a water table. So you'll see, I think, 4 or 5 courses, and then a soldier course, and then above that, tie in
Is the
split
CMU.
face CMU from the rear walls. So we're trying to bring in a couple different materials, add to the overall architectural intrigue there. We looked at just carrying over the same material as the grocer. We just wanted, again, to add a little something different, which is why we're looking for a different color. So we're proposing at least a gray split face CMU, similar material in the back, carrying over the same color from the grocer. So it'll actually be 2 different colors. The record of course doesn't capture that.
Okay, yeah, because it just feels, again, it's opinion and it's aesthetic opinion, so it's not, take it for what it is, but to me, it feels unfinished.
Yeah, I
Right.
think the finished product, if you look at the CEs provided,
Yeah.
I think that's gonna bring to life a little better than what you see in the rendering.
This is a side note too, to take back, because I think we've mentioned this a few times, on the corner, that's done already with the reliefs that are there, with the holes in the Willow Grove word and all that
Yes.
stuff. None of that's lit up. It is now? Just drove
It's
by
like- I
it.
think we're actually working on the lighting, 'cause it has been lit, to your point,
Okay,
we're having issues where sometimes they strobe.
okay. Maybe it's daylight savings time too, and sometimes it's an issue. Was it on? Okay. 'cause
I already called and said it wasn't on.
Yeah.
We've had discussions and they're having some problems.
Okay, all right, cool, yeah.
But we are already good. If you turn on,
shocked when I saw them.
last time I saw them, which was last week actually, after the planning board hearing, or the board hearing, the purple and pink were flashing, so that wasn't the intent.
Okay,
So we're troubleshooting that.
got it. Okay, yeah, no problem.
I just have one question. I was wondering about the safety of walkers as they walk along. Like, where are the trucks pulling in and out?
Right there, those holes in the wall where you see.
Yeah, so then, but I guess it's not clear then that someone's going to continue walking along there, like when the sidewalk ends and then starts again.
So the sidewalk is, if I may, try to
Yeah,
answer this.
yeah.
The sidewalk is continued. If you walk down there today, you'll see inlaid brick identifying the
Perfect.
sidewalk.
Okay.
It goes great for the curb cuts,
Okay.
which are existing today, but you see a continuation of that sidewalk path.
Okay, good.
Pathway in that wall.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's another rendering issue. The plans show it.
The plan show, yeah, actually, it's a great point, right? If I go back to this.
How about that? Bowler got something right.
We don't have it here, but you see it.
Bowler's not an architect, so.
From the other direction.
I was really unhappy about the brown walls with the little holes in the lights. I've never seen them with the lights on. And it's beating a dead horse here, it seems like. When this started out, we were promised stainless steel panels with willow trees on them. And then those brown walls showed up with little holes in them for weeks and weeks and weeks. Never seen them at night. And also, what does it look like during the day? I really can't. I drive by and I see these brown holes, these brown walls with holes in them. And brown, what is brown? Green, I can see willow trees are green. So I think it's probably too late, but I'm really kind of disappointed on what we got there. If you drove up the street and looked at that, not at night, you would know what it was. I thought for a long time, I thought it was just unfinished. But,
I appreciate the feedback.
no.
And just so everybody knows, this was not federal hierarchy that wanted to do any of this with this trolley and all this. This was Adam. I talked to the vice president, and Adam took this on his own, really, for them. He works for them. But he's the one that said, this isn't looking good right now. Yeah, and he took it on to try and make all this look better. And they said, you can run with it, but don't mess our project up. So I just want to commend him for, that other stuff was done with the other board, all those people from there. This is what he's been involved in for that.
The
So,
trolley.
yeah, no, the trolley and taking the wall,
The gate out.
the handrails that were aluminum, yeah, and stuff, and putting them into this other stuff. It was a vision that he took, and they just kind of accepted it. I just got to say, I'm glad, the panels are, that's the big board. He took this on by himself and went against them, and he convinced them to say, hey, let's make this look better than what we originally had. And he did a good job on his end of it. But those panels, that's the main board and stuff. He just took this on. So he's not the one that could answer those questions.
Oh, okay. Will I ever get my stainless steel panel?
Well, they're legitimate questions.
Yes, but
And we did have the back and forth and the, back orders with materials and promises that it was gonna be. But I do appreciate your comments. I also want to take this moment now, since Kip already went there, that, thank God for the preservation and the Historical Association and the Historical Commission that really, kept at it for all these years. They have an incredible inventory, and Ray Stahl is a person he was talking to that, got involved with this trolley car.
And Udo.
Udo Marin.
Udo, yes, right, Udo, yeah.
Right.
And,
And we got rid of the cartoon drawing of the,
well,
Well, hey, it's design's iterative, right? And we knew that we wanted something to happen back there that gave some interest. Because right now, there's no interest in that entire corridor. And this is a good step. So, right now, with the project only being done with phase one, there are lots of things that don't really hit the mark. But we're hoping that as federal progresses and this property continues to change, that some of this vision starts to become reality, and the community's happy with it. We still know, it's on the books, we've said it a million times, we didn't get what we wanted across the board, which is unfortunately part of the compromise parts of this project. But hopefully at the end of the day, when this whole thing is done, we get a good working town center for Willow Grove.
I'm very happy with phase two so far.
Phase two was great, except for the lack of doors on the back of it, but
front yards from,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it.
And we were heard,
yeah.
and we had some changes there also, but challenging,
Okay, state of
I
this.
think the state of affairs that it was right now, we started with.
Yep.
And federal got our message, and it's been consistent for a long time, and they still have more work to do.
yeah, I'm
So-
thinking about the parking garage.
We'll get to that one.
Even everything we said about the other frontages all the way around. They still have more, they have plans for the corner of Park and Moreland. They're not really sure yet, but we let everybody
I
know
hope we have some
that we want front yard
better
space from the
input.
sidewalk in.
in response to our input.
Thank you, Nick. Any other commissioner comments? Any public comments? Okay, this is not an action item.
Cheryl, are you okay with this? Okay.
I like my design comments, and I would be very happy to see them implemented, but I will not hold the process up if.
As far as making it larger and,
In creating some relief and maybe having that be less of a decal and more of a sculpture
okay.
on a mounting surface. I would be happy to see that. However, I do not want to be the one who holds this process up if we're looking to push it forward.
I think they're very valid comments, and, you know, I like what you said about, you know, a 3D sculpture on the side of a wall, as opposed to more of a sculpture that's just using a wall to hold it up.
Yeah, we could definitely, I can tell you, first of all, from our standpoint, we are looking to implement this immediately, right? We
Yeah.
have all our professionals kind of ready to go. That said, those changes are fairly straightforward. I think the design lends itself to permit some more protrusion. So
Bigger scale.
if it's something as simple in terms of creating the 3D effect,
Yeah.
going with a larger spacer, maybe a thicker aluminum, just to create some more depth there, that's something we can easily look at.
Is there any way, and I don't, is there any way to lower the wall so like the top of the trolley comes over the wall a little bit? Like, so it actually looks like an object, not a wall with a sticker on it.
That's certainly something we can look at.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm throwing this out there just because it would be something that I would like to see.
Yeah.
However, I understand where we are with this process, and if these guys want to say, no, don't worry about it, it's fine the way it is, just do one thing, fine.
He's been very, very adaptive
I agree,
so far.
I agree. And so, like, I don't
If he
wanna-
can do it,
Yeah.
if he can do it, yes.
Yeah, I appreciate the direction we're going, and if those changes can be made, I'm just fast forward.
Great.
I mean, this thing's gonna be up for a long time, right? And you've created something that people will recall. They'll drive past it and they'll say, that's the Willow Grove trolley sculpture. And so let's make it the Willow Grove trolley sculpture, not the Willow Grove trolley sticker.
Fair.
Great points. Great. Okay.
Cool, thanks,
Any
Adam.
public comments? Did I answer it already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does this need to go to the 12 form?
Doesn't need
Yeah.
it, no.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. See you soon.
Yes, indeed, thank you.
All right, that concludes the new business, or old business. Back to the agenda here. We'll move right into reports. Mr. Alcier.
Commissioners, you have my report for October 2023. I have nothing further to add, but we'll gladly answer any questions.
Only question is, how's Leafs pickup going?
Pretty good.
Good.
We worked our first Saturday this past weekend. You know, the Thanksgiving holiday always puts us a little behind because of Thursday and Friday. No collection, but we'll be at it again on Saturday. So we'll be finishing up by the end of the second week of December. We should be in good shape.
We have no code enforcement, we do have a report, but we do not have a code enforcement officer here tonight. So I don't see any outstanding issues. I would like to know where we're going with 1740 County Line Road. I've gotten some updates from Paul and also from Alex, and they're moving forward with the stormwater management stuff that they have to do. And that stuff has been initiated. So they have committed to doing what they're supposed to do, but they're well beyond their timeframes, and that will carry over to our next meeting. Gilmore and Associates is not here tonight.
Bless you.
Bless you.
We had the couple active things we have. Maybe you could help me out with that one, Dave. Anything with Sycamore and Parkside?
Inlet is ordered.
Okay.
Ordered the inlet. So I'm just, you know, once we get the plans from Jim,
Okay.
we'll be set.
And we have been notified by Paul that the car wash at Easton Road and Willow is withdrawn, so that land development will not take place right now, so now we have availability there for something new and exciting. I thought we were making good headway with the car wash, but there was a conflict between them and PennDOT. It was unreconcilable.
That's not necessarily the exciting thing that we would want to develop that.
That's why I say it's exciting that we have a.
Exactly.
Yes, but still, it's anything's better than vacant business.
Agreed, 100%. Oh,
And
before
it is an
Adam
applicable
leaves-
use too, so.
Before Adam leaves, let's ask him a couple questions on the Park Avenue site. So you guys are making huge headway on that building. It looks great. When do we see that opening and what's going in it?
Right now, we have 2 tenants lined up. They're both transfers. Orange Theory and Handstone coming from the old side, I call it the Phase 3 side. We'll be relocating there. The rest of the building is being marketed, and we are seeing a lot of interest. The completion schedule has been delayed. We've had issues with our signing contractor, candidly, that are in the process of being resolved. The building is there, all but the completion of that siding. We're going to start tenant fit-out work sometime in December for those 2 relocations.
No word on the anchor tenant? That with the beautiful outdoor public seating spaces and proposed food?
On the ends, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the grocer box. No, we've had a lot of interest from sit-down restaurant users, which has been the intent from the get-go, especially on the right side, although we have additional restaurant interest on the left end camp closest to Panera. So I think there's confidence that we'll get the merchandising mix we're looking for in that building.
All right, perfect. Very great. And no movement on the Amazon Fresh?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
Dave, I wanted to go back to you about the hoppers, trash hoppers. So we authorized the township to sell the hoppers for trash. How many have we actually?
Oh, we sold almost 100.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
I'd be curious to hear in a year from now how many are actually using two.
People panic. It's slowed down. The first week,
One's just full of
the
toilet
first
paper.
week was, I guess that was the weekend of the 16th, week of the 16th of October, around 50. And then it slowed down a little bit.
And I think some of them, like I could have used an extra one this week, but it's going to be specialty times.
Sure.
So you're not, even though you get the extra one,
Yeah.
which I haven't done yet,
And
it will, I won't use it most of the time. But the certain weekends.
You have an
sometimes
event.
I will.
they have it. And then the large item pickups that we have scheduled, we're averaging around 6 or 7 a day.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's not bad.
fair.
And how is it going with the collection of trash with the new hoppers?
Yeah, they're finishing up right around the same time, so it's not slower with the guys on the back.
Right.
Rolling it out and putting it on tippers and dumping. So, once we get the automated trucks, it's gonna be a lot quicker.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we are saving on
Yes, I saw the,
muscular, skeletal, and everything else as far as what they have to.
because it what Commissioner McFatcher said, it averages around 20,000, 21,000 pounds each laborer lifting each month.
Right.
Into the trucks.
Okay. So there's things to look forward to coming up at the intense laboring of picking up trash will be a little bit of relief to our employees.
Well, that has begun already with just rolling it
Right.
out, so that was a big help.
And while we're talking about trash, it's a relaxed week this week. So people that got their trash picked up on Thursday will be next Monday,
Will be Monday.
and there'll be no,
Yard collection on Monday. No yard waste collection.
and all that information is posted in the township newsletter.
Letter, and there will be a news flash that'll go out.
Excellent. Okay, moving right along, I don't see any other features on the engineer's report. Do we have an opening date for Olive Garden? Did they open?
I think they're open now. I saw people walking into it, actually. So I think they're open.
Any comments on anything already reviewed, the engineer's report, the code enforcement, and also the public works report? Hearing none, we'll go right into McMahon's report. Warminster Road Bridge is moving along, and our contractor has started on the sidewalks.
That was confirmed. Anton told me they were out there, so they've officially started.
Okay, thank you for going back there. On current projects, we have Warminster Road Bridge. We have an idea of when they're gonna do the Moreland Road Bridge? It's like a county project.
I don't know. I'd have to check with Anton.
That should be coming up soon. But there's a lot going on Blair Mill and Maryland, not Maryland, Blair Mill and Commerce, and we're going to be starting on that soon. And they're active projects that need us to get there very soon. Penny pen. And how about the most recent grant applications that we were talking about last month?
Multimodal?
Yes.
Yes, that's been submitted. That was,
Let's say,
that will go out the end of this month. The ones for the LSAs for police station, multimodals for Willow Grove interchange.
and we talk about Woodlawn Park at the Parks and Recreation, but we have a couple right-of-way improvements that are gonna be included in that. Crosswalk at the,
Oh, on Woodlawn itself?
yeah,
I don't know if that's part of the first phase. I think the parking was, but I don't know if it was, 'cause remember it was gonna be a raised crosswalk?
yeah.
And I don't think that's part of phase one, but the parking, I believe, is.
Okay.
The parallel parking.
Okay. Any comments on the traffic, any comments or questions on the traffic report, the traffic engineer's report? Commissioner Skull?
Last month, I was complaining about the traffic light at York and Cherry. Still remains the same.
Church?
Church, I'm sorry. And,
Church in York.
Church in York, yeah?
Right, so when we milled and paved Church,
We took out the.
we took out the loop.
I didn't do it this time.
So what we did do, we purchased a camera.
Blame me anyway.
Purchased a camera, and he ran the wire to, need a new wiring. So, he ran that, he's on vacation now, and then we're gonna be putting up a camera. So we have the camera in hand.
Yeah, because, you know, poor people driving through. there in the
Understood.
morning. And also, the light at Summit.
Same thing,
Exactly.
yep.
Came down there at like 11 o'clock last night. No cross traffic, light was red.
We have the camera for that too.
And don't do that.
Commissioner Skull, you raised some really good points because, you know, the technology is there to help keep traffic moving.
Yeah.
And, you know, we spend a lot of money on this and so has government, like PennDOT has and all municipalities. And the idea is that if the traffic's moving, that you can get away with less lanes. So it's very important.
Oh, yeah, and one of my campaign promises, I was gonna do something about traffic, but I feel I'm
Being
completing that.
specific, it's very frustrating to sit on a very busy street when traffic backs up and there's nothing that comes across. I share your concerns. Thank you for bringing those constantly to our attention.
I'll keep at it.
Any public comment? Okay, moving right along. Oh, man, this thing just restarted.
I knew he'd come up with something.
Look at it. Tell me.
Keep your hands off it, and it would have been fine.
It restarted. Okay,
Don't mess it up.
there's reports that we had here, and we're fine.
Works like that.
Yeah. You have anything to add for the Turnpike?
Yeah, they did choose the engineering firm that they will use. It came down to Boyle Smith versus McMahon. They both have extensive experience. They were looking for experience with the Turnpike Commission, because that's kind of important given the projects they're working on. And Boyle Smith was significantly cheaper. So they went with Boyle Smith. And I think they've really just made that announcement. I guess they'll start developing concept for which project. So Willow Grove Interchange is their top project, which is good. And so we'll see. That'll be, I think, new projects of, conceptual stuff, that'll be forthcoming. So more to come on that.
Is that spelled S-M-Y-T-H-E?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the same people that did the Turnpike,
Yes.
Montgomery County Turnpike Corridor Study, where they promoted another travel lane east and west in each direction. And many of the bridges were widened east of us to make way for that. And they also had a heavy hand in what's going on in King of Prussia right now, and additional lanes there. So we have to work on these more lanes east and west in between. But I'm happy to hear that either way, the Willow Grove Interchange is the #1 project. Well, that's good that they picked somebody we're moving along. So it won't be long now. I only spent a lot of money on the Turnpike with the getting rid of the tolls, the interchanges. So that should help traffic move along too, once they get rid of them. Next on the agenda would be any comments on the Turnpike interchange? Okay. Environmental Advisory Council. Lynette, thanks for joining us tonight.
So we met on, I should have made this bigger print. We met on November 1st and noted that the bird habitat at Pelagi Park has been planted, and Parks and Rec was, more than a huge help with that. So they threw in some extra money, and so it's been seeded twice and had extra plants put in. Really want to thank also the Birdtown, Pennsylvania, and Penn Community Bank, who supplied us with the original $500 grant. So that project is done, and hopefully in the spring we'll see some nice stuff there. We did also order an educational sign, which Treasurer Sign is working on at the moment. We would like to add a second sign that says the types of plants that are in there and the types of plants that people could use in their own backyard for making bird habitat. And so hopefully we can make that happen. We also talked about maybe recognizing people that, since we are a bird town, that put bird habitat in their own yard. We're not quite sure how to do that. We talked about maybe supplying them with a sign, or maybe mentioning their name somewhere if they're okay with that. It's probably not enough room in the newsletter, but maybe. So, and any ideas, we're certainly open.
That certainly was the original concept.
Okay.
That when you initiated bird habitat in your private property, that we would assist, like I think it was actually the EAC that was going to assist with the habitat development. And then Audubon was there to help also, to encourage people to do that and to guide them on what to plant, what not to plant. you know, I think we still have some work that could be done at Fair Oaks Park with the, you know, that was the original concept there too, was to
Yeah.
bring that to a bird habitat sanctuary. So keep your eyes on the target for that, please. going
Okay.
forward.
There's a house in my ward, I think it's on, either on Gilpin or Ellis, that has a Bird Town sign in their yard because they have they basically got rid of their lawn and developed a habitat, so
Right.
maybe they could inform you as to how they got that done, if you're looking for that type
They-
of information,
They bought the sign for $25.
or, so you just buy the sign?
No.
You gotta meet some kind of.
You have to
criteria,
fill
right?
out a form and,
Yeah, okay.
and hopefully, you know, it's the honor system. Hopefully people would be honest for something like that. And then you can buy the sign. Usually when the Pennypack Trust has their plant sale, Audubon is there and those signs are available at that time along with lots of information
Okay.
on what to plant, and then you can buy them right there.
Interesting, all right.
So, but yes, we would like, you know, we have put it in the newsletter a number of times, but
Right.
maybe something at the library. So, and like I said, we're open to ideas. Also, let's see, now that the fence bed has been installed at the library for the Outdoor Environmental Education Center, we're working on the design for the presentation stage and working with, there's a subcommittee that's working on getting a design and price for that. Since we are putting the Outdoor Environmental Education Center at the library, and there's those nice big windows there by that for birds to run into and get killed, we'd like to put up what's called feather friendly, which we would buy, and David said he could help install that on the windows. So it goes up with a backing on it, and then you peel the backing off and you just have dots all over the window, no more than 2 inches apart at any point. And it really helps reduce the bird strikes on the windows. So we're hoping to do that as soon as possible, although temperature does affect how well it sticks. So, and it might be spring. We'd also like to get more information out to residents on what they can recycle, because I think we've got a lot of wish cycling. I think I mentioned once that my neighbor's recycling bin blew over once in the wind, and I went over and looked what was in there and was kind of appalled because half of it didn't belong in there. And so I think residents really don't know. And I think we mentioned before too, now that we have the new recycling bins and the new system, things that are in the newsletter and that are online don't match each other. And so we know you guys are super busy, so, you know, we would be more than happy to help redo that stuff. We could rewrite it and let you see what you think.
I think it's a great point. You know, suddenly I'm recycling pizza boxes now.
Yes, yes, and apparently the grease doesn't matter. Yeah, so I don't know, is that something that we could help with, or?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay,
We can always review it.
okay. And we're still hoping to have an area of leave the leaves by the middle school. And again, it's incredibly important to not go suck up all those leaves. You won't see mine out by the curb. I know, it's a,
So don't call when they blow on your lawn. right?
oh, I won't, that's for sure.
Ward 6.
Yeah, and actually they stay put better than people realize, so all my leaves will stay under the trees where they belong in order to provide habitat for things like salamanders, which overwinter under those, along with lightning bug larvae and other insect larvae. So we're talking near the base of the food chain, and it's really important to leave the leaves. And if you think about it, nobody rakes leaves in the forest. And so we'd like to maybe in one of the, I don't know, on some township property somewhere also leave leaves, other than just at the school, if we can get them to do that.
Okay.
Yes, no, okay. And we plan to start the Going Green Talks again in January, and the first one might be something about birds. And then at the bottom of your sheet, you should see a picture of the sign that we're having Treasure Sign do for the Pileggi Park plantings. Oh, and I did get a request from a resident about putting wildlife crossing signs, not just deer crossing, but she said she had seen wildlife crossing signs some places, and she thought it would be important at Blair Mill and Creek Road, and then at Horsham Road near Fair Oaks and Continental Roads.
In Lower Moreland. No, you mean Byberry Creek Road? Where's Blair Mill Creek Road?
Yeah, that's not us.
No,
Okay.
Byberry Creek Road is Lower Moreland, but Blair Mill, I don't think there is a creek road.
Okay,
Byberry Road off of,
all right,
Yeah, it's supposed to say Byberry.
okay.
and that's Lower Moreland.
Maybe they did mean Blair
Across the
Mill.
tracks. But, interesting point, if you think we build the signs, the wildlife will come.
I think they're already here and dead on
They
the
are
side
here.
of the road.
I just smashed a deer last week.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
And
I
so,
could have used a sign.
and-
Talk about native plants. And I can't remember where I heard this, but do we have a native plant species list? Was somebody putting that
boy.
together? Was the,
Just open that can up.
no, was
For
that,
Lynette to get on her soapbox.
no.
So,
Yeah.
Was that the tree, what the hell's the name?
Tree Commission?
Yeah, the tree commission. Did they put a list together?
they are working on it.
Okay.
There's sort of one. So in the native plant ordinance,
Yeah.
I think that list is included there. I know, the guys that used to do this, Faber,
Yeah.
yeah, when they basically wrote that, and they had a list of trees and other shrubs, and I guess it's mainly trees and shrubs, because that's what developers are gonna do. Audubon has a list of native plants for birds. So if you go to the National Audubon Society webpage, they have a nice list, and you can put in your zip code and see what's available and what's best. And it talks about, sunny, shady, that sort of thing, because of course that's really important for having the plants be successful.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I just know we talk about native plants all the time, but, people have no clue
right.
what that
Penn
is.
State Extension also has native plants listed on their website. And
Okay.
so does DEP, actually. So they are available online.
Great.
All right, anything else?
Thank you very much for your continued support and hard work.
Oh, you too.
Appreciate it. Any comments? EAC report? Historical Commission? We have anybody here from the Historical Commission to make them?
Of course. Meetings tomorrow night. We were booted by that thing called the election.
Okay,
Every November, we have to change our meeting stuff.
okay.
We'll report back to you then. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much. What'd you say?
Oh, did you announce the executive session?
I did not. Thank you for reminding me. I made sure I asked about that too. We did, the Board of Commissioners met in executive session before this meeting for personnel issues. Thank you for reminding me of that, Commissioner Lockhart. Any visitor comments? Okay, as of now, we will not have a CDC meeting for December, but that's tentative. If something comes up, we'll announce it at the Finance Administrative meeting next week. But right now it is, we don't have any pressing business that requires us to have it. So we will not. Any commissioner comments?
Yeah. You don't have a meeting next month. This is the last time we can have you continue a meeting forever.
Oh, no, it's not. I can sit in those chairs and continue meeting.
What we're laughing at is he asked for the agenda on mine. I put adjournment real big. I was a lot of help.
No, honestly, piggybacking off of that, that was gonna be my comment. So if we don't have a meeting next week, this is my last CDC meeting. It's been a lot of fun being up here with you guys. All joking aside, this has been fantastic. And knowing too that this is a coveted committee to be on, especially when led by you, Commissioner Spearing. So, being a freshman commissioner and being welcomed into this group has been very humbling. So thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, you have certainly been a very inviting guest and, well, part of this committee. I mean, you really, you brought so much to it, and I appreciate that very much. And I think this committee's done a lot of great work, and I'm gonna miss it, but there's pressing business for me to do at home.
You'll be
It's,
back.
Likewise.
Yeah, the only thing I would say with that is people have no clue how tough this one committee, when it comes to legal issues, and there's a whole lot to know for this committee. And it was nice having you two on here because you do understand all of this. It's going to be tough for our next one. Sometimes it takes years to figure this stuff out. Being an architect, you already had the information. You've lived it. Kevin's lived underground. You can't just replace very often people that understand what happens from ground level and below. And what I've learned from both of them. I mean, it's a big commitment on this committee. And I do appreciate, and we got a learning process of who's coming on to do this, because there's some big issues.
You brought a lot from the administrative standpoint, a lot of things that you've experienced. So it has been a committee of people that brought their life experiences, and Joe Lavelle also, like, you had big shoes to fill.
I did.
So I do appreciate you stepping in and doing that. It was a good relationship. And we have some accomplishments to be proud of, and we have a lot of things we learned. And I think this township and the Board of Commissioners that's coming up has a lot of lessons learned to go forward with. So I appreciate the collaboration of this committee and the entire staff, and I'm comfortable stepping down and with where we're going. So thank you all. We're adjourned.